Welcome everyone to my channel Everything PS. With you MD. In a new tutorial in Premiere Pro course. Do you want to know how to add transition effects in Adobe Premiere Pro? Then you are in the right place to be. Let's start our tutorial. For this tutorial, I am working with the Premiere Pro project file 0701 Add Transition Effects. You'll find that project filed with the media associated with this tutorial. You can download it from the link down below in the description box. Just double-click on it to open it in Premiere Pro. Whenever a shot changes to another shot, it's called a transition. The most common transition is a cut where one clip ends and the next clip begins immediately after it. You also might choose to use special effect transitions. And there are lots to choose from, including the most popular for video, the dissolve, and the crossfade for the sound. And let's try this. I'm going to cut here between the kids rolling a tire shot and this forest time lapse. Let's take a quick look at the cut. I'm going to click back on the timeline and play. It looks okay as a cut. But I think it will be interesting to put a cross dissolve in. I'm going to just resize the project panel slightly so we can see the tab for the effects panel. And I'm gonna browse into video transitions and dissolve. And now I'm going to drag this cross dissolve effect onto the joint between these two clips. And before I release the mouse, you can see that I've got a highlight showing where the effect is going to be dropped. I can position this at the beginning of the second clip, in the middle, or the end of the first dot, and you'll notice that these durations differ slightly. And that's because there's more left of material for that kids rolling a tire shot. Then there is the forest time lapse shot. These transition effects are applied by using the unused media. I will release the mouse button. And there's our cross dissolve. Let's take a look. Perfect. You can adjust the timing of a transition effect by dragging the edges, just as you would trim a clip. I can make this shorter. And I can move the timing. If I have the transition effect selected, when I look in the Effect Controls panel, I get the settings for that transition, not for the clips, but for the transition itself. And you can see the controls are pretty basic. I can turn on viewing the actual sources. Up here in the preview, I can specify an alignment and a specific duration. I also get a preview in the right-hand side of the Effect Controls panel that I can use to modify the timing. More complex effects will have more advanced controls. But this is all we need for the cross dissolve. I'm going to make sure the transition effect is selected in the timeline panel. And I'm gonna press delete to remove it. Now let's take another transition effect. Maybe a wipe. And I'm going to drag this onto the joint between the arch far and time-lapse C clips. And you'll notice that I can only drop a transition effect at the beginning of the time-lapse C clip. That is because there are no leftover media at all for back clip. I'm just going to undo for a second, so I can show you something. You'll notice that the top left corner of the time-lapse C clip has a tiny white triangle. You can see here between the forest time lapse and kids rolling a tire clip, we've got a triangle on either side of the cut too. That triangle indicates that it's the last frame of the clip. There are no leftover media. And so we can't apply a transition effect that involves any kind of overlap. We could fix this by trimming the clip, so there are some unused media. But I'm not too worried for now. Let's put that radial wipe on. And maybe I'll adjust the timing to make it a little shorter. as you can see in the Effect Controls panel. Now I have got the radial wipe selected. We have a few more options. If you're happy with the timing of a transition effect, you can replace the effect and keep that setting. Here, for example, I'm going to go to the iris category. I'll get the iris diamond and drop it right on top of that radial wipe and selecting the fact, and you could see that iris diamond effect has inherited the duration and timing. Let's take a look. It's a good idea to experiment with the many transition effects available, though most professional editors will advise caution. If the transitions begin to distract from the story, you may want to keep things simple. Here we go, we are done for today. Don't forget to sub, like, share, and leave your comment down below. See you next time, goodbye.